All right, guys, let's get this started. We are gonna do a chit chat, get ready with me while I kind of sort of talk about my deployment and, you know, what went down. First, I need to find a hair tie or a clip. Perfect. Actually, I need two because I really want thick hair. Okay, so how are you guys doing? What have you all been up to during this quarantine? There we go. But yeah, how are you guys actually doing? Like, how are you guys coping? Did you guys get, you know, laid off from work? Did you have any issues with your banks and not being able to make payments? I got an email from the Census Bureau. They wanted me to do a survey for, you know, Americans and whatnot. Well, for myself, but in America, about how everybody's been handling COVID and all the hardships that come with it, and yikes. And I'm very grateful, obviously, being in the military. I have, you know, a steady income. Luckily, both of my parents are still working. They're actually on their way to bring my dogs to me right now, but my dog did jump out of the vehicle on his way down here, so he had to go to the emergency vet. He's okay. He is in a lot of pain, a lot of bandages. He's got a cone on his head and he is hating life right now. We have to pick him up and carry him to take him to the bathroom. I just feel so bad for him. My parents were getting him really excited to see his mom. He hasn't seen his mom in 7 months. He's just been super excited. They got in the car and he knows that it's go time, and he just jumped right out the window. I won't talk about the details because they are pretty gory, and I'm still in shock because I haven't seen him and I don't know just how bad the situation is, and I asked my mom not to send me any photos. When he got here, I would know. It was pretty bad. My husky is being a brat like always, and she's you know, living her best life with my parents. Let's just go ahead and get right into the whole getting ready thing. This isn't a tutorial. This is just me showing you how I get ready in the morning because my parents are up about 5 hours out. First things first, we are going to do primer. This is the Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen. This does have 40 SPF. It's a sunscreen, but it works as a primer, and I actually picked this up while I was deployed. Picked it up, I ordered it. It's not like we have Sephora where we're deployed. It really works for my skin. I have relatively dry skin, and this just kind of adds like the sheen that I like, but I don't need like a super dewy moisturizer because this gives me like the glow that I like. We'll start with the actual deployment. So when I first got my notification of deployment, I found out where I was going, which obviously I won't tell you. I was super excited because I've been in for, well, at the time I was in for 7.5 years. And I had never deployed, and that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to travel the world, you know, get out of my hometown, deploy, and I finally got the opportunity to do that. It was like a dream come true. By the way, I am using Costmetics CC Cream. Also has SPF because I'm 27 and I have wrinkles of like a 45-year-old. Not okay. I need to get Botox. I apply this just like a foundation. You can just rub it in with your fingers, but I don't like touching my face excessively. So anyway, the deployment. Got my notification, super excited. I couldn't wait to get there. I was actually deploying with a teammate and a really close friend of mine in the car community. We were leaving relatively the same time, and we went to the same base, so that was really cool. We didn't really see each other though because we obviously have very, very different jobs. But I did get to see him a couple times. He left before me and unfortunately left after me, but he's home now. I'm home, everyone's home, and we're just out here living our best life. When I first got to my deployed location, we were living in tents, which is pretty standard for deployment. And then within a month, we transferred to these RLBs, which stands for relocatable building. It is kind of like a shipping container. Never forget to do your neck. I actually was rooming with a girl who just so happened to be stationed in Vegas with me, but I'd never seen her before. She works in a different career field, and she became, God, one of the most monumental, influential people in my life, and I'm so grateful for her. Her name's Sam, which is actually my sister's name. So that was kind of ironic. We became best friends. We literally did everything together. Like, we would wait for each other to get off work to go to the DFAC to get our food. Just a really, really good friendship, really healthy. She's a mom and she's married, and obviously I'm single now. I'm divorced and no kids, just my fur babies. We still bonded. Like, she has this thing that I also have. If you guys know what Murphy's Law is, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. That's us. And for the life of me, I can't remember any of the stories right now, so I'm gonna have to really think about that one. Anything that can go wrong, it went wrong. We knew we're in high spirits about it because we know how our life goes. Not a big deal. I'm gonna contour with a Hoola bronzer stick. I just put that right under my cheekbones, right like that. Put a little on the forehead. So we became super, super close over there, and I'm forever grateful for her. And we're still friends to this day. She got back before I did. She left a few days before I did. I only cried twice. Not a big deal. I don't want to talk about it. And I was super bummed because that was my best friend. We started watching Supernatural over again. We've both seen it, but we watched it again. We're both giant book nerds, and just, you know, really, really good friendship, like I said. And she left. I was sad, but I knew she was going to be here when I got here, and she actually came over while I'm still in quarantine, or while I was still in quarantine, and brought me a basket of goodies. So that was really, really sweet of her, and she's a really phenomenal cook. Yeah, she brought over some batteries for my smoke detector because I apparently don't have any. The Instacart won't deliver them to me for whatever reason, and I'm just lazy and didn't look for a place that actually would deliver batteries for me. So beautiful friendship. I was very, very, very grateful. Very, very grateful for her. And while I was deployed, COVID hit. COVID hit everywhere. Man, that was an adjustment. You're already deployed, trying to adjust to deployed life, and now you have to deal with COVID, which is something nobody's ever gone through before. So that was, yeah, not the best time to be deployed. Ironically, it was the best time to be deployed. Anyway, COVID hit, and I got pulled from my job to do the medical augmentee stuff. I was actually the person screening people if they had COVID or not, and having to turn them around at the gate so that they couldn't have access to the base. I'm gonna go ahead and set that with the Laura Mercier setting powder. So like I said, I was screening people, and I ended up doing that for the rest of my deployment, and it wasn't bad actually. I ended up working night shift, so I was on the same time frame as everyone back home, which, you know, worked out in my favor, so yay me. So I still got to talk to all my friends and family and whatnot. But then on top of COVID happening, I found out my grandma, my dad's mom, has been battling stage 3 colorectal cancer. And my parents knew for a while, but they didn't want to tell me because I'm deployed, and they didn't want me to freak out. And God, I respected them so much for that. But still, my aunt didn't know that my parents hadn't told me, so she had posted about it on Facebook. It was a post that I nearly scrolled right past, but I ended up reading it because I've lost both my aunt and my grandfather on the same side to cancer. So it was just like a cancer post or whatever. 100% forgot to add concealer. This is in shade. I have no idea because I tore it off. Good job. Way to go. But I'm pretty pale. I found out that my aunt, or my grandma, was battling stage 3 colorectal cancer, and lost it. The first time I had cried on my deployment, and I lost it. God, that was really hard. And there's nothing I can do. I couldn't go home to see her anyway because of COVID. The travel restrictions were so heavy in place still, and I wouldn't want to, you know, be around my grandma traveling, you know, to the States on a plane and potentially carry coronavirus to her while she's already immunocompromised with cancer. I'm hoping by the time my birthday comes around in November, that's when I'm gonna go home. I'm hoping that coronavirus is chilled out and she's doing good, and I can actually go, you know, give her a big old hug because God, I miss that woman. And then just to put the cherry on top, my roommate back home, she was shot. She survived, but she was shot. She had one of my dogs here. I had the other two with my parents in Iowa, and she couldn't take care of him. And at the time, I was actually going to be deployed for a whole year, so I had 6 months left. And the borders here won't take a dog for 6 months. It's a long time. So I had to make the heart-wrenching decision, which I've always been against. I've ended friendships over rehoming animals. He couldn't go with any of my friends because he can't be around other dogs. He's a very aggressive dog. So COVID happened, which sucks for everybody. And then my grandma's battling cancer, and my roommate was shot, and she had to move to Chicago, which is why I had to rehome my dog also, because there was no one even in the house to take care of him. Needless to say, the deployment was actually pretty rough on me. I had night terrors. For like 6 straight weeks, I probably slept maybe 2 hours a night, and I could not fall asleep unless my roommate Sam was in the room with me. And even then, I had these vivid, lucid dreams that just, I would wake up broken in a sweat. It was very traumatizing, and I'm still traumatized. Like when I came home and she's not here, she's deaf, so I can't just call her and, you know, chit chat with her. And so I kind of had to process her like a deaf. That sucked. She became a really, really good friend of mine, and I love that woman to death, and I'd do anything for her. That was rough, and I was not in a good spot. I'm gonna bronze my skin with the Kylie bronzer, because she was shot, and my extension for deployment was in and sitting at headquarters. My leadership, thank God, were working with me, and we actually ended up getting my extension canceled, so I came home not on time. We were all delayed from leaving. I still came home, but well, I came home about 6 weeks after the incident happened. So I'm very, very, very grateful for great leadership. Both my home station leadership, my deployed leadership were all on my side. And I know that's not everybody has that story. Not everyone's that lucky. So I'm very, 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 very grateful that I had good leadership on my side to help me with that. While I was deployed still and I couldn't sleep and I was having, you know, really hard time adjusting to this situation, I reached out to my cousin, who I also know, she also battles with depression and anxiety like I do. And I reached out to her, and she told me about this app called Dailyo. I think it's $23 a month, or no, a year. And it's like emoji based, so you can dictate how you're feeling throughout the day with just the app and just emojis, and it helps me a lot with like triggers and things that I did that day that could make me, you know, not sleep well. Like I realized I was drinking caffeine way too late in the day, which, you know, being on night shift kind of screws everything up for everybody, but it really helped me stay on track with, you know, what I was doing, what I could do to better myself to, you know, get through something like that. And it's not easy. I'm gonna have to deal with that, you know, forever. And so between all of that, it was just really, really hard. So then I came back home. Getting out of there was smooth, getting home was smooth. I was on quarantine for 2 weeks. Everything finally worked out, and now here we are. I'm very, very grateful that I was able to go on the deployment. It's nice to know that when things really go wrong, what you can pull yourself out of, because I was in the darkest place that I've been in my adult life, and I've had a pretty rough adult life. To be able to look back and know that I pulled myself out of there, you know, with the help of my friends and family and leadership, and just surrounding myself with really good people that supported me and helped me get through it, is a life-changing. And I will forever remember that deployment. So now here we are, and I'm getting ready to bring my dogs home and love on my dogs, and I'm just super, super excited for that. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the Kylie Jenner pressed blush powder in the shade Baddie on the Block. Looks like this. Relatively speaking, I am doing just fine. As fine as I can be with everything that's going on. I'll let you know how that turns out once my dogs get here and I'm finally, you know, feel a little whole again. Moving on to highlighter, we are going to go in with the Pur Cosmetics / Jaclyn Hill collaboration, the Champagne Pop. I hit pan on this because I love this thing, and I'm just gonna go in with one of these little brush thingies, Morphe R36. This is my favorite kind of highlighter brush. I'm gonna dabble that on here. Ooh, girl, look at that. Dang. I need some sunglasses. I kind of put this like all over my body most of the time because I just love it. And it's like a golden tone, like champagne. It's beautiful. So now that we did that, I am not gonna do my eyebrows because I don't have an eyebrow pencil because I ran out on my deployment. So I'm going in with the Pur Cosmetics Fully Charged Mascara in black. Is what it looks like. I'm gonna do that off camera because I'm not trying to like look directly in there with like the faces that we all make. So just 1 second. And I'm back. So this is what this mascara looks like. Beautiful. But of course I stabbed myself in the eye. So I've got a little bit under my eye. That's me. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. I'm gonna go ahead and finish it off with a little spritz of this Smashbox primer, photo finish primer water in So Chill Coconut. I don't know if you can still get this because it was a collaboration with Nicole Concilio. It was my all-time favorite primer water, so I purchased like 5 of them. I kind of go like crazy with private water. I'm gonna snap my hair down, fluff it out a little bit, and we are ready. So I wanted to say thank you so much for just kind of hanging out and chit-chatting with me while I just kind of threw my everyday face together. Some days with mental health, it is a feat, you know, it is a true accomplishment to, you know, get out of bed some days. You know, I'm not gonna lie and say that that's not me, because that's very much me. I have my moments, but one thing I've learned from my whole life, everything that I've gone through, is if you surround yourself with good-hearted people, you'll never be alone. And that could mean so many things for so many different people. I've lost a lot of friends, gained a lot of friends, lost family members, and it never gets easier. And when you're deployed, you always think it'll never happen to you. And then it happens to you. You lose your cool, but you always come back. You know, I was on the phone with my brother last night, and he's come so far in his life, and I'm so incredibly proud of him. And I never thought I would say that, ever. Me and my brother did not have a good relationship up until about a month before my deployment. And I'm just so incredibly proud of everything that he's accomplished. He's had a really, really rough life. He was trying to explain to me how he feels about he was set back so far, and then he came so far from that spot, but he knows that he's not finished there. And so I wanted to give a little quote for you guys, because that's what gets me through a lot of my dark days. And the quote that I'm gonna leave you with is, you didn't come this far to only come this far. Your journey's not over, and it helps when you are surrounded by positivity and love, positive influences. But also at the end of the day, it's internal. You have to be happy with yourself. Love yourself first, surround yourself with good people, have goals, aspirations, and that's not a fix. It's not gonna make your life easier per se, but it helps. It helps you on the days where you think you're alone and you're actually not. I've struggled with depression for going on 5 years now, and I've learned a couple things throughout my depression journey. I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here because it is time for me to kind of pick up my house for my parents to get here. So I just wanted to say thank you so much again for your love and support. So comment down below if you want me to do more get ready with me chit chat videos, or if you want me to do a makeup tutorial, like a full face makeup tutorial, not this quick little throw my face together sort of thing. So I'm gonna leave you with that. So make sure you give this video a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time. Ow. Good Lord.